In today's episode, won't fix your buggy software that costs us thousands of dollars per year? Fine, pay our bills then. Call the police? Sure. It's not a swimming pool. So let's get started. Won't fix your buggy software that costs us thousands of dollars per year? Fine, pay our bills then. I am the AV supervisor for a large company that hosts events. Specifically, I look after quotes for the technical side of corporate events, giving clients access to projectors, microphones, speakers, etc. for their large corporate presentations, meetings and whatnot. I also manage and brief the floor crew who actively run the events. We use a program to book our equipment which, while powerful, is a bit laggy on the average computer and is also extremely expensive per year, about $2,000 per user per year, and there's about 30 of us in the company that use it. Relative to how much our company makes per year, it's a pretty hefty cost. It's a good program when leveraged properly, but sometimes it can drive you mad with its weird way of doing things. One important feature of the program is that it tracks the booking of all equipment everywhere, including time for packing it into a room and packing it out of the room. This is useful because it prevents our team from overbooking equipment. If it's not available, the system won't let you book it. There's no way around that. If I am short on equipment, I can book extra equipment from another rental company and on-charge that to the client when I know in advance that I need to do that. Anyway, cue big presentation from the booking company showing their latest version of the booking software. It's great, it's faster. It's better than ever. We have a busy week come up and I am flat out floored with paperwork, pulling a 60-hour week. Our company is fantastic with overtime. We don't get overtime pay, but we do get time in lieu. Our bosses are totally cool about it. So if I work 1 hour overtime, I get 1 hour off the following week. Do a 60-hour week and you get 20 hours off later. Anyway, one of my floor crew comes to me. Floor crew, hey OP. This equipment isn't available. We've already got it out on another event. Me, what? It should be available. Floor crew, no, it's definitely not. I just set it up for another event 2 hours ago, and that event is running for 3 days. Cue me running back to me desk and rechecking all my paperwork. FYI, equipment lists going out for events is often over 100 lines long, hence why we don't do manual checks for overbookings. The system should do it. As it turns out, all our equipment was overbooked multiple times, in many cases, overbooked on 3 events or more. I make multiple phone calls to rental companies and bring in rental equipment on short notice. That's expensive, and I can't charge it to the client on such short notice. If you took our expected profits for that week, you could add a negative symbol onto the front, and that'd be our new profit. I log a job with the company that makes our booking software, and then proceed to double-check all our upcoming events. Oh boy! A lot of overbooked equipment. Note, these events are often independently created by multiple people at different times of the year. There's no way they'd themselves check if the equipment was available. It's just not feasible. Hence why we rely on the system that up until now worked. The booking software company is extremely dismissive, saying that it's a rare glitch and that they'd look into it. Cue 1 month later and still no fix. I'm now spending significantly more time double-checking all our events for overbooking. The booking software company still doesn't care about a smallish company like us. Frustrated, I ask my boss for a copy of our service agreement with the company. He's as annoyed with the situation as I am, so we go through it together. Turns out, there's a clause in there saying that the booking company would provide compensation in the event of total system failure, in the event that the system can't even be accessed. Well, we definitely call this a system failure. Of sorts. Its failure is costing us a lot of money. So we send the bills of all our rentals that cover overbookings to the booking software company. That gets their attention quickly when the total bill amounts to more than triple how much they make off us each year. Booking software company, hey OP, what's with these bills? Me, here's the job reference you still haven't responded to after 2 months now, and here's the link between each rental and each event that's overbooked. Booking software company, oh. There's no way the system is letting you overbook equipment. And you can't send the bills to us for every event that's overbooked. Me, shares screen alright. Let's test it. The booking software company shares their screen as well, logging into our version of the booking system. They proceed to book some equipment that should 100% not be available. True to their word, the system doesn't let them do it. I then book the exact same equipment on the exact same event, but from my computer. My boss's witness, the system lets me do it without any alarm. This surprises them, and they start talking about potential fixes. They also say they're willing to pay for the rentals up until now. 2 months later, we're still billing them for every rented equipment, they're still paying without questioning, and we still don't have a fix. I've changed the procedures to check for overbooked equipment though, so we aren't running around like madmen trying to fix things last minute anymore. Call the police? Sure. In our mid-20s, my husband and I purchased and moved into our rather modest first house with our infant daughter. I made a big effort to meet and befriend our neighbors, and all of them warned me to be careful of one particular person, Jane. Jane had lived in the street for 3 years at this point, and had earned herself the nickname Big Fat Jane as she was manipulating, intimidating, and thoroughly awful. Jane ran a daycare from her house, but neighbors on both sides reported hearing her scream at the children and leave them unsupervised in the garden. It's important to note that Jane's partner is a police officer. The neighbors were scared of retaliation if they reported her or stood up to her. It seemed Jane would use this to get away with her horrific behavior. Our house had a driveway with a dropped curb big enough for one car, but we could fit both if you blocked in the first and only used the second car. Parking on the street was very limited, and we had double yellow lines outside our house, not allowed to stop/park there. During some essential roof work, our driveway was taken up by scaffolding and a skip, so we parked in the street, and my husband parked outside BFJ's house. The next day when he went to his car, BFJ came running down her path shouting at him. She screamed about his antisocial parking, that his car would be towed, and that he could expect it to be scratched up if he left it there any longer. My husband calmly explained it was a public road and she had not right to police the space. Her screeches at this point were loud enough that I and several neighbors heard and came to see the commotion. Her partner was perched at the door during all of this, saying and doing nothing. When she saw me on pavement with our daughter, she pointed and screamed, "You'll have the social on you if you don't FCK off. I'll scratch you right up." At this point I told my husband to come back and we were calling the police. She responded, "Call the Pollock. I fking dare you. He's," pointing at her partner, "a policeman. He'll king sort you out. You won't know what hit you." At this point my husband looked at her husband and said, "Is that right? And you're agreeing with what she said?" The partner nodded and said, "You need to move or accept the consequences. You call the police, it won't get you anywhere." Funnily, when I then took out my phone and dialed the non-police emergency number on speakerphone and made a police report, both of them looked a lot less confident. BFJ stood there open-mouthed, then grabbed her partner and slammed the door. And we haven't heard from her since. Her partner was placed on suspension due to the allegation and further allegations from our neighbors. He then returned to an admin role. After our confrontation, BFJ was given a warning for a public order offense. However, due to a number of reports, her daycare closed and she is no longer able to mind children. Their house is up for sale, however, as she made a number of modifications without proper planning or works people. Its price is significantly lower than they expected and they're in negative equity. All because of a parking space. It's not a swimming pool. Not mine but my dad's, RIP. Subplot: he passed away 4 years ago at the age of 64. Like his father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. All down the paternal line, all first-born sons. All of different things. When I get to 64 I might starting shitting bricks. Anyway, to the MC. Many years ago, it became law that all swimming pools needed to be fenced separately. The fact we lived in a fully fenced property with a gate was not enough. The swimming pool needed its own fence. Dad ignored the rule as we didn't really use the pool anymore, approximate 30 feet long and 10 feet wide and 6 feet deep in the shape of a kidney. I swam at nationals a couple of times, and my brother was able to bob along pretty well. We didn't have young children come to the house. None of our friends had children. 0 point in fencing it. A couple of years after it became law, the council started doing inspections to make sure that pools were fenced. The guy was a typical council employee, strutting around in his fiefdom, flexing his muscle and threatening fines and court, etc. Dad got some quotes to have it fenced, which were pretty expensive as the hard paving surrounding the pool was curved and the fence couldn't be a typical wooden fence as A, wood doesn't follow curved contours easily, and B, the council bylaw wouldn't allow it as little kids, who were non-existent at our house, could climb the fence using the cross member to get a footing. So Dad kinda ignored the issue for a while until the council guy came back and again started threatening again, and gave Dad 30 days, or something like that, to remedy the issue and sort out the swimming pool. Dad started researching and came up with a solution. The council guy came back 31 days later and was furious that the pool wasn't fenced. Dad took him out to the pool. The approximate 30 feet long and 10 feet wide and 6 feet deep in the shape of a kidney, he showed the council guy the dozen or so fish and water lilies that now occupied the pool, thus turning it into a fish pond. A pond that was the same size and depth as the swimming pool it used to be, which under the law did not, and still doesn't need to be fenced. Game, set, match. Thanks for watching.